Welcome to the NSIC Spotlight, the voice of the NSIC student athletes. I'm your host, Nick Cornder, Assistant Commissioner for Media Relations at the Northern Sun. Today, we are joined by Chris Cook of Minnesota State University Moorhead track and field team. Chris, thanks for joining us on the Spotlight.
Hey, awesome. Thanks for having me.
All right, before we get to track and field, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I'm a high jumper at Minnesota State University Moorhead. I've been here for about 3 years now, originally from Minneapolis, Minnesota. I am majoring in advertising and public relations with a minor in culture.
Outstanding. All right, so a little background. Before you ended up at MSU Moorhead, you were at North Dakota State University. How'd you end up crossing the Red River of the North and becoming a Dragon?
Yeah, actually, so I was there for about 2 years, freshman, sophomore year, and then sophomore year, need that change of scenery. So right around that time when everything was happening and trying to figure out where to go, Coach Bergstrom reached out to me and then kind of built that relationship with him. And that's how I ended up here, honestly.
What were the best attributes of the campus and the track and field program that drew you there?
Yeah, that's a good question. I really do love the campus area, especially during the summer. It's a beautiful campus. Everything's well taken care of. The grass is green. The trees are beautiful here. It's a quiet area. I love it here. And then with the track team, just having that community of people on the same page, and we're all just trying to be great and better ourselves on and off the track.
And people are going to see some highlights from you. The MSU Go team, talk about having that type of coverage. John Webking and his team up there just do a phenomenal job of covering Dragon athletics.
Yeah, definitely. The Go team does a great job. They do everything, pictures, videos, create content. They have a podcast with Webby on there. Webby does a good job. My guy, Sean, shout out Sean Rice. He does a great job. He's been covering me since I've been here. Just having that type of content creation and exposure. Never really had that before. So it was really interesting just to kind of meet those guys, see how they do it, and be able to have that content I can put on my personal profile. Is pretty awesome. I mean, there's really not too much I can say besides just go look, and they do a great job in doing it.
Yeah, first class coverage up there by Dragon Athletics. We mentioned you are an NSIC champion and record holder in the high jump. How'd you get started in track and field and specifically the high jump?
Yeah, so actually in high school, I ran track my senior year. I knew the coaches from like middle school. They had tried me to get out to run track and high jump. They were like, "Oh, you'll be a great high jumper." I was like, "Yeah, no, I'll just run this basketball, see where this gets me." But I was like, you know, it's my senior year. Let me give it a chance. I gave it a chance. I actually had a couple of my buddies come out with me, jump with me, and all of us were pretty good jumpers. I had one friend, he actually goes to the University of Minnesota now, plays football there. And then my other friend graduated from the University of St. Thomas. But I was able to get those guys out there with me my senior year. And I ended up really just liking it and really think I could take it far. And so I'm really happy I stayed with it. Back in high school, I think I jumped like 6'6". I think our school record was 6'8". So I just missed it, but I was like, oh man, I'm that close my first year. I'm gonna stick with it. So ended up going to North Dakota State University and then ended up in my home now, MSU. So that's how I started.
All right, and a lot goes into the technique of the high jump. Before the jump, you guys are pretty locked in. I mean, what's going through your head before you go up and make that jump?
Yeah, any jump. I just try to get a routine in. I try to visualize myself going over the bar. So kind of in detail what that looks like is I'm thinking about my approaches, thinking about being consistent with that, my steps, where my steps are going to be. And then when I get to that last step, where I want to be. And after I think about my last step and where I want to be, I'm really thinking about how I want to get over the bar. High jump is about timing and body awareness, not just jumping. So there's a lot that goes into the jump. So the approach is actually what makes the jump. If you don't have a good approach, you're not going to jump high. You just ask Coach Bergstrom, he'll be the first one to tell you that. Everything's set from the approach. So my routine is kind of go through my approach, and then once I get to the bar, I just think about taking it up and doing what I know how to do. Yeah,
like you said, you're lucky enough to have an NSIC Hall of Famer in Dave Bergstrom as your coach. I think he's the record holder in the outdoors up there at
Yeah, 7-1 and 3/4.
7-1 3/4. So I'm sure he's helping you try to get to that level. Tell us about his, you could have said a few of those things, but some of his coaching styles, techniques, or something that he's really taught you over the last couple of years.
Yeah, Coach B, I call him Coach B. So Coach B, very personal guy, very easy to talk to. Me and him, we talk about everything. It doesn't even have to be about track. I might text him and just see how his day is going. This is kind of the relationship that we built over the years and things like that. So having a coach like that is just, you just can't go wrong. Just kind of having somebody that's done it before. You really can't. You can't deny the process that he's trying to take you through, and having somebody like that, like I said, he's been there before. He's done it. He's national champion. Like you said, a record holder, and then all around is a great guy and alumni of the school. So when he comes in, the building or any event that we might have on campus, everybody knows him, and it's just like a big family basically. And I'm thankful to be in that situation with him.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to meet him at the Hall of Fame induction ceremony for him at the NSIC, and look forward to him every year. His big smile when you see him, when someone clears a jump there at the NSIC championship. So yeah, definitely a great guy, great coach person to be around, Coach Bergstrom. So we got one more NSIC championship this year coming up. The outdoor championships are in Duluth next weekend. What are some of your personal goals going into that championship?
Yeah, just kind of building off the year that I've had, just be consistent, go in there, do what I know how to do, have fun. It's my last go around, so just kind of have fun out there and kind of just build off the years I've had.
Do you look forward to it? There's other jumpers that you compete against all the time, and indoors at other meets. You're obviously trying to do your personal best, but also win the competition. I know Minnesota State's Devian Brown is right up there with you in the nation, I think tied for 4th. Yeah. Are you guys good friends? Do you talk during the competition? What's the relationship like with somebody?
I'm actually happy you asked that. That's actually my friend. That's one of my brothers for real. So we're good friends off the field, off the track, and then kind of when it's that competition mode, like we'll talk before the jump session. But then once the jump session goes, we're usually just kind of locked in and ready to compete. I'll cheer him on. He'll cheer me on, but we both know, like, when it's time to compete, we're both here trying to compete. And, there's times where I beat him and he's beat me, and it's just great competition. And it's kind of just like, that's somebody I can say, like, pushes me to try to be better and get better. I can say vice versa.
Yeah, it's always fun to see the high jump come down to the end, and it's usually you and him jumping, and the crowd cheering and the clapping and everything. It's an exciting moment when you guys clear those heights. So best of luck to you in the future, including that NSIC championship coming up. Those are Thursday to Saturday, May 13th to 15th in Duluth, Minnesota. You can follow those championships on northernsun.org or the NSIC network. That's going to wrap up this week's show. Chris, thanks for taking the time to join me on the NSIC Spotlight, and best of luck to you and the Dragons the rest of the season.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.